RiverPitch is proudly supported by ACS and River City Labs.
Welcome to RiverPitch, where 24 hopeful startup businesses compete for a prize pool valued at $20,000, which could help them accelerate their businesses to the next level. Last week, we saw mentor Steve Baxter help 8 businesses refine their pitch in Brisbane, with 4 moving through to the next round. This week, it's Sydney's turn, with investor and entrepreneur Peter James mentoring the teams.
Peter is also an experienced board member, positions guiding the likes of Nearmap, Quarry Telecom and Drone Shield.
We're going to see whether we can take your businesses and grow them to the next level, to accelerate them. Each of you will pitch, then you'll take that pitch away, work on it, and then come back in, and later on today, you're going to present to a live audience. But remember, from the 8 businesses, only 4 are going through to the next level. So what I'm looking for from today's contestants is, firstly, are they solving for a real-world problem? Are they fixing a pain point in business or in society? That is just so important. But next, I'm looking for companies, businesses that are customer-focused, out in the real world, out in the marketplace. Are they passionate? Do they care? Do they have that fire in the heart that is just so necessary?
First up, Equal Reality is a company that allows users to step inside a virtual world to be on the receiving end of discrimination, which helps companies with diversity and inclusion. Peter loves the concept, but has some concerns.
But my question to you is, who else is doing it? Isn't there someone in other parts of the world? Because I don't want to take away from what you're doing, but it's an important problem using modern technology. What's stopping someone in Bangalore, Helsinki, or Palo Alto from doing it, and are they already doing it?
There are others that see the value of this opportunity, but we find a lot of them either don't understand the diversity and inclusion market or don't understand the technology, and we sit squarely in the middle. Those that are, most of the people in this space that are trying to do what we're doing, they understand diversity and inclusion, and this opportunity is huge, but without the critical understanding and background that our team has in the technology, it's really difficult to properly capitalize on virtual reality technology.
That's great. Let's build that into the pitch.
I think at the end of the day, it's got to be just about the mission. It's got to be about changing the world in the way that you want to see the world better.
Wens from Fin15, which offers cost-effective financial advice to young people, has come up against one of the most basic questions that any investor would ask.
And where are you at in your revenue journey at the moment?
So right now we are making between 5,000 and 10,000 a month, getting usually between 20 and 40 clients a month.
And how do you make your money? How do you monetize?
So we have 3 revenue sources. So we have the flat fee, fund under management, and commissions as well.
Okay. But I'll be somehow trying to ground what you're doing in reality. It's how are you getting rubber to the road? Because immediately people see the problem, but then it sort of dissipates beyond that. The other thing I always say when you're pitching, it's what feels authentic to you. It's what's in your heart. Don't ever pitch something that someone tells you you should do if you don't feel that it's right.
I reckon one of the best times was when we realized how much help we were giving back to young professionals and students that they thought that they could never get that help back from any financial advisor.
Cruiser Interactive creates interactive touchscreens for better collaboration, particularly in meeting spaces. The company's CEO, Anthony, has global ambitions, but Peter is wary.
I'm going to throw a few points back at you, and I'll start with one. Taking on an international strategy is a very, very hard thing to do. Why would you head off from Australia so quickly? Do you really, and it was hard to tell from your prezzo, that you've really got a sustainable business here in Australia? I'm a big believer in the F word, focus.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you shouldn't go to the US or internationally, but when you're talking internationally, I'm thinking great words, but real problems.
I think the main takeaway was that we need to make an investor really confident that we know what we're doing in the Australian market before focusing too much on ramping that up overseas.
Greg from Humm, which is a streamlined marketplace for the hospitality industry, received some advice on how to bring a pitch to life.
But I'd be trying to tell a little story, perhaps about Bill or Mary in their cafe, you know, how this impacts them on a daily basis. You know, I was sort of trying in my mind to understand how this played out in the real world.
We've dealt with businesses that have struggled to make money for years, family operations, and when someone comes to us and says, when we started using Humm, we improved our business by $400 a week, that is the reason why we're in business.
Carolyn's company, Sound Scouts, is disrupting the hearing test industry, particularly for children, with a game-based app. The story is an emotive one, but Peter wants more information about how they get money in the door.
How do you make money out of this?
Yeah, so it is based on a cost per test. So prior to the government funding, parents and schools would pay close to $15 per test session, so 10 times cheaper than a traditional hearing test. And we offered bulk savings to schools.
Okay. So $15 per test versus 100 plus traditionally. How good a message is that?
Yeah.
You know, so that automatically tells me that you're going to get market penetration.
Yeah. My youngest boy has had some challenges with learning, and seeing the impact of those challenges on his self-esteem, it's really made me appreciate that a small issue that can be easily addressed can have a huge impact on a child's life.
Coming up, find out exactly how these great companies plan to change the world. Jake from Spare Workspace, which allows companies to list their unused office spaces for hire, has Peter talking about the importance of simplicity.
This will be successful if you are frictionless and easy to use, because if someone's just after 4 or 5 meeting rooms for a few days, they're likely to go to one of the many available co-working spaces. You've got to be easier to use. What about security? What's to stop someone coming in and just wandering around?
So first and foremost, our customers are business customers, and typically are larger enterprise customers that are conducting business meetings. So the likelihood of, you know, them running to security issues, causing any drama is quite minimal.
Stable is a company which optimizes workforces based on employees' geographic locations in an attempt to cut down unnecessary travel within cities. The concept has impressed Peter, but Richard has forgotten one fundamental thing in his pitch.
When you said, here's what we want next, it seemed to me like you were saying we just need help. Everyone needs help. We need partners, we need whatever. Can you give some thought to being more specific?
Yes, that's definitely something that we think about a lot in terms of the changing needs of the business and what will get us that extra bit of rocket fuel to help it really launch and take off.
One last comment, you said right at the beginning, world first, and I thought, how do you know that? I'd just be a bit cautious.
I'd like to see a world where we can minimize the amount that we have to scurry around cities, getting from point A to point B to point C and D, to the point of us getting back a lot of the time that we're wasting sitting in traffic.
Wrapping up the mentoring sessions are Hanno and Jason from Unleash Live. The company uses artificial intelligence to analyze video, which was deployed on drone footage during the Californian wildfires in 2016.
What other sort of customers have you got? Because I'd be looking to give 1 or 2 examples, shorter, sharper. It's not just because I could argue that was just a bit of a fluke. You landed into California. Brilliant, by the way, brilliant. But what other customers have you got?
Well, anything that has widespread assets. So in other words, it could be rail, it could be construction, it could be power, and we're in those markets at the moment.
So there's something that anything, you know, what's your target market? Anything that's got widespread assets.
Yeah.
Hi, and welcome to RiverPitch. We have 8 great Australian businesses here today. We've had a fantastic day. We've worked hard, we've pitched, we've refined, but now we're ready for action. These 8 great companies are back to do a 90-second pitch to convince you that you would invest in them.
McKinsey says at current rates, it'll take over 100 years to reach equality for gender alone. Companies are investing billions in traditional methods that simply aren't cutting it. Stanford has shown that virtual reality can improve memory retention from 10% to over 70%. But it can also lead to empathy, reducing bias, and behaviour change. I'm Brennan Hatton, co-founder at Equal Reality, where we create diversity and inclusion training in virtual reality. We implement a 5-minute experience that can put you in the shoes of someone else, where you can experience discrimination and empathise. You can practice your behaviour, a fire drill for high-stakes social interactions. We did a pilot study with one of Australia's largest banks with outstanding success, but we've also been working with other large organisations like the Royal Australian Navy and Domain, just to name a few. Our clients license our virtual reality training that's built with our Equal Reality Creators Suite. Traditional virtual reality can cost millions of dollars to develop. Our Equal Reality Creators Suite is a SaaS platform that enables anyone to build their own virtual reality training. In the last year, we've made $500,000. This year, we already have $3 million lined up in existing sales pipeline. But we want the funds sooner to move faster. Equality should not be 100 years away. Support us to make it less than 10. And let's make equality a reality.
Well done, Brennan. Fantastic. You really got my feedback. You talked about the customers. You talked about the dollars. You talked about the SaaS model and what you're going to do next. You really got rubber to the road.
Think back whenever you were a student and you were budgeting to see if you could actually afford to pay rent that week, or if you could actually afford the ramen noodles of that dinner, or whenever you need to find an accountant that you could actually afford to lodge your taxes, or when you were budgeting to try to plan buy your first home, first car, or even just paying your HECS debt. Like myself, 2.5 million young professionals and university students are not receiving any financial advice or guidance. This is a market that is being underlooked and is not being looked by any financial planner or banks or big corporations. This is why we created Fin15. Fin15 is a financial advice software that actually is focused to help university students and young professionals to reach the next objective, the next goal in their life. Our software is a holistic software that uses AI to analyze the data gathered from the client and create a personalized plan so that the client can actually take a confident decision about any financial advice, about any financial issue. Also, the person can feel more empowered about their future. Our services are affordable, easy to access, and they're customized. Also, the sign-up process takes only 15 minutes of your time. Since we launched in February 2018, we got 200 clients and about $1 million on fund under management. I'm Gwen Speraza, and I'm the proud founder of Fin15.
We've all been involved in the workplace in unproductive meetings where people fumble and context switch between different documents and materials that they need to present. In the US alone, it's estimated that $37 billion is wasted every year on unproductive meetings. The solution is to reinvent the way that we collaborate in meetings, democratising the discussion so that everyone can contribute rather than having a single person presenting at the front of the room. Cruiser is a software product that enables you to turn any surface in a meeting room to be interactive. That means that devices like touchscreen meeting tables and interactive walls can enable people to work together, bringing in content for discussion and all collaborating together around the same workspace. This is particularly valuable for contexts like emergency services, where people can bring in data from the field and more quickly make decisions with that data to provide a faster emergency response. We have over 50 major clients, generating $2.2 million of revenue to date across real estate, corporate meeting rooms, and emergency services sectors. It was spun out from research at Sydney University, and we have an expert team involving 3 PhDs, including myself, that really understand the impacts that this technology can have and the opportunities we have with it. We're seeking $800,000 of investment for 25% equity, focusing on growing the team in sales and marketing and operations, but particularly in enacting a channel strategy so that we can sell this through hardware distributors and AV integrators. And the end goal is to really focus on capturing the market for software for meeting room collaboration. Thank you.
After the break, the competition heats up, but who would you choose to go through to the next round?
Can I see a show of hands if any of you have been in a coffee shop before? Excellent. We go into lots of coffee shops, and one particular coffee shop, our local, we got to know her quite well, and she was telling us that there's a problem in her business and that she's really struggling to make profit out of her coffee shop. And we were quite surprised. It's a busy place, it's a local hangout, lots of people going there all the time. So we wanted to understand more. Upon investigation and talking to over 500 coffee shops, we discovered a couple of things. We found out it's taking these people up to 10 hours per week to manage the administration in their business, and that dealing with suppliers is costing them about 40% of their revenue. A little bit more research, industry profitability sitting at 2%. It's a $20 billion industry, the cafe and restaurant industry, at wholesale sale value. And we think it's time there's a better way. And Humm was born. So we decided to build a two-sided marketplace that connects buyers and sellers on a single platform called Humm. What do? We're a sales and marketing platform for suppliers. We're a marketplace for hospitality venues, which allows them to buy at better prices than they could on their own. We're a payments platform. And ultimately, we see ourselves being a data company that has great depth of understanding of pricing, logistics, and ultimately food waste. So far, we've created 3 strategic partnerships with national and global hospitality players. In our pilot, we delivered over $300 worth of savings for businesses and an 80% reduction in ordering time for those same businesses. And we've traded with over 150 suppliers so far. Now, time to scale. Through our partners, we have access to thousands of customers. We engage those customers through promotional activity to get them interested in our platform, and we upsell them to enable them to manage all their suppliers on one database through our software. In 2019, time to scale. We're looking for strategic investors who are passionate about food, as passionate about food as we are, and who also want to continue to enjoy great local coffee. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. You really got our attention. You had everyone in the room putting their hand up, and at that point, you had the audience. You've certainly convinced me that there's a problem to be solved, and you're well on the way to fixing it. Thank you, and good luck.
I met Adam, a young man delivering firewood. He was thrown out of school at 15. He was disobedient and disruptive. And it was all because he couldn't hear. Globally, each year, around 285 million children experience hearing issues that impact their quality of life. Because when their loss goes unnoticed, they miss out on learning, they miss out on social cues, and ultimately, they miss out on fun. And yet, hearing checks for children remain expensive, difficult, and boring. But that's set to change. I'm Carolyn Mee, founder and creator of Sound Scouts, an algorithm-based hearing check integrated into a mobile game. So children play the game with a set of headphones on a mobile device, and each player interaction collects a valuable piece of hearing data. That data is sent to the cloud, processed via our advanced algorithm, and a report is instantly returned to the supervising adult. Sound Scouts has been developed in collaboration with Australia's National Acoustic Laboratories, a global leader in hearing science. It's been validated with clinical trials on over 1,000 children tested against gold standard audiometry. Our model is to sell each test at $15, and we've tested over 6,500 children, and we represent great cost savings to government in the early identification of issues. So much so that the Australian government has paid for over 500,000 Australian children to have free hearing checks. And we've also attracted international interest, and we're working with collaborators to roll out on a global scale. A key member of our team is Dr. Harvey Dillon, who's an internationally renowned scientist. Sound Scouts is highly awarded technology, but more importantly, we're changing and improving children's lives. And in our ears, that makes us winners. Thank you.
Thank you, Carolyn. Great work. You've brought in the validation points that we talked about. Thank you very much, Carolyn.
Hi everyone, my name is Jake DeMarco and I'm the founder and CEO of Spare Workspace, the Airbnb for meeting rooms, where we allow businesses to book and share on-demand meeting space by the hour or the day. Now at Spare Workspace, we are solving two critical problems that face millions of businesses every day around the world. The first one is businesses need to find and book on-demand workspace. However, it's costly and time-consuming. On the other hand, we have businesses wasting valuable space every day due to underutilisation. So very simply, at Spare Workspace, we have created an online platform that connects those that need space with those that have space, allowing businesses to make money from their space in a matter of a few clicks, but also allow businesses to book space in minutes and not days. Now, being a two-sided marketplace, we have two types of customers. The first one is our guest, those that need space. And this ranges from freelancers, small businesses, all the way to large enterprise customers. On the supply side, our host, those that have space, we have two types of customers. We have professional providers like co-working spaces, hotels, but we also have everyday private businesses, marketing agencies, training organisations that simply have empty and underutilised workspace. Now, we've been in market now for 15 months and we've witnessed exceptional growth in a very short period of time. In fact, we're now one of the leading marketplaces in Australia for on-demand workspace. However, we have a problem. We have too much demand and not enough supply. So we're looking to raise additional capital to put more people on the ground to drive up our supply so we can continue to be the #1 marketplace for workspace, not just here in Australia, but in Asia Pacific. Thank you.
Thank you, Jake. Well done. And you certainly brought in the discussion we had that you've got so much demand and you need more supply. And that's why you're going to market, to raise money, to build your dream.
Most of you have had to commute to a job at some point, and many of you have had to actually drive as part of a job. Not only was this a poor use of your time, but it was bad for your health, the environment, society, and for individual businesses. Stable has created a unique workforce geo-optimization engine that uses transport APIs, mapping tech, and PhD-level machine learning optimization mathematics to disrupt the reasons that we travel so much in the first place. We do this in 3 ways. For existing workforces, we identify workers with similar attributes but opposite commutes, which allows organizations to offer mobility options to their workforce. For the future workforce, our geo-recruitment tools allow people to be recruited into the right jobs in the right places from the start. And since local employees are loyal employees, this means engagement increases and turnover decreases. For workforces that have to travel as part of their job, we reduce the amount of time spent and the distance traveled. So you can just ask some of our customers. We recently optimized the delivery workforce for a major multinational consumer company. We reduced the amount of time taken for delivery by 48% and the distance traveled by 36%. Our business model relies on revenue sharing, on integrations with some of the best rostering, recruitment, workforce management, and logistics software. We're integrating those partners right now, and we're here looking for more customers, channel partners, and people that can help us grow and scale. We are stability through mobility. We are stable.
Fantastic, Richard. We all understand the issues of being stuck in traffic. You're solving for a real-world problem, and I like it.
Picture this. Northern California, late last year. Wildfires ravaging through communities and thousands of homes destroyed, hundreds of people dying, and the early responders really struggling with grasping the extent of the situation. A massive problem to get into the communities and put them back into really getting back on their feet. It takes months, sometimes years, to have those communities tackle the situation. We were there, working with the largest drone operator in the world and the local police. We got visual data from the field into the cloud and analyzed it with live AI. This brought insights to the police force and the operational headquarters so that they could make better decisions in real time and really address the situation that was on the ground.
And this is just one of our solutions, the application of our solutions. In the oil and gas industry, we're helping to identify gas leaks. In rail, we're securing railway crossings, and in smart cities, we're helping to move people more efficiently around the world, around the city.
So our business model is a cloud-based SaaS platform with custom AI algorithms built into the solution. We connect enterprises that have these massive problems with the best AI developers. These developers can deploy their algorithms on our AI App Store and solve things such as detecting hotspots on solar panels or identifying leaks in pipelines.
And the trends are clear. With the rollout of 5G, intelligent robots, automated vehicles, and amazing compute power, Unleash Live will scale as these unfold. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. How good was that? Californian wildfires, we were there.
Next up, find out who will be coming back for another chance at the grand prize.
We all know there can only be 4 companies going forward. So now I've got the difficult decision of announcing those 4 companies, and I've got to say it has just been quite hard. First up, we have Equal Reality. Coming up, Brennan. And next, I have Carolyn Mee from Sound Scouts. Coming up, Carolyn. Richard from Staybill. Come and join us. And last, but certainly not least, I have Hanno and Jason from Unleash Live. As I said, it has been such a difficult decision. And my thanks to the companies that are not up here, because you know what? You are truly great, and I'm very proud of you as well.